individuals. It's been a while since I've actually like made a video. Like the last time that I recorded something that wasn't my, like before my first tee shot was like 2 months ago, and so I just kind of wanted to do a continuation of that video. I wasn't crazy about that video, but it sat in my memory for so long that I was like, I should probably edit this and upload this, so I did. And in that video I started rambling off on like my personal dating life, and I cut myself off because that wasn't what the video was about, but this is what this video is about. And yeah, so I don't even know where to start. I'm currently not seeing anyone, and I'm currently not talking to anyone either. In fact, like, I haven't been talking to anyone in like maybe a little less than a year. And I think what I noticed was that it just got, like, things got a lot harder after I came out as a guy. Like, when I identified as genderqueer and I had my dating profiles, I was very feminine. As you, like, if you have been following me for a while, as you may have noticed, I was like very feminine. And I don't know, like, I thought I was happy with it. Obviously I'm not, and obviously I wasn't, but like on my profiles I made it very clear that that's the way that I was, but people seemed to ignore it, and so it just seemed a lot easier to get attention from other women when I identified as that, because they can ignore that, and they can ignore the fact that, you know, that was my identity, and I didn't use she pronouns, and I, you know, I like wasn't a girl, but because I looked like one, like that's what people saw, and that's what people wanted to pay attention to. And so, but it just seemed like a lot easier for me to talk to anyone, for me to start talking to someone. And I thought that, you know, now that I have this newfound confidence and that I'm much happier where I am, that things would get easier, but they haven't been. So in person, I haven't really, like, I had one person like feign interest in me, but that was like back in November, and it lasted for like 2 hours, and then that ended. And I've been on dating sites since like 2 years ago, but I made a new one. I made a new account. I want to say in the summer, on OkCupid. Don't try to find me. I made a dating profile as myself, and I made it very clear that I'm a trans guy and that I'm 5'1" and I'm like really short, and you know, this is who I am, and I don't know if it's my personality or what, but I noticed that a lot of times, like, if I do ever get a like, which I had 3 mutual ones, if I ever do get one and I like message the person back, they'll just completely ignore me, or they'll either delete their profile or like block me. So that's been weird. And I know a lot of it has to do not only with just being trans, but I guess because my face is still sort of ambiguous or something, because the T hasn't, like, I haven't been on T, you know, until like 2 weeks ago, and so my face is still somewhat feminine or something. I mean, I don't see it that way, but I guess that's what people are seeing. And also, I'm really short, and a lot of people want a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome, and I don't have that tall part, and it's unfortunate, but that's how my genes are. And I know that there are cisgender guys that are my height and that are shorter than me, because I've seen them, and like in my own country, like my height isn't that short. You know, I've that Mayan gene that like we're all just short people, and like that's just the way it is. But it's unfortunate because now that, you know, I'm like dating based off American standards, and I'm short compared to what I should be, and there's not much I can do to change that. I've like considered height surgery, but it only adds like 2 inches. I know, it's just like ridiculous steps to take that I don't need to take, and it's something that I struggle with personally, having to feel comfortable with how tall I am or with how short I am. And there are other things, like I look a lot younger for my age because it's a trans masculine thing that you just happen to look younger, like you like cut off a couple of years from your life, which I guess will be good when I'm older. But yeah, so I haven't actually been seeing anyone or talking to anyone, but I guess if I were, the difficulties for myself would come with like things like living a double life and having to deal with that and having the other person be okay with that, and like not being able to like maybe come over when my parents are home because I'm gonna have to be this like, I don't know, sometimes like I guess androgynous way, not that I'm, you know, not that I'm like super masculine to begin with, or that I can't do something like a video call because I look different when I'm home like with my parents because I have to be this kind of girl, or things like, you know, we're gonna get looks on the train, and that's something that even my friends have noticed, that every time that they're with me we get they get a lot of stares and they're not used to it. I've unfortunately been used to it for a while, for about over a year. I've noticed how often I get like glared at and people would stare at me and try to figure out what the fuck I am, and like so they'll like, I've gotten stares, and so when people are with me, if they're not used to it, then they're just kind of in this weird, like they're just shocked, like why do people keep looking at us, and it's because of me. It's so shitty. I feel like I'm like a fucking zoo animal, but it's kind of the way it is. And I think something else that I've like struggled with has been my femininity, which I mean, I consider myself feminine based on society standards, but I don't, like if I look at myself and if I were to define myself, I'm not. I'm like myself, and whatever I do is masculine because I consider myself masculine. It's who I am, you know, but based on standards, I have my hair out and I'll like flip it and it'll like, you know, I mean, I don't usually wear like my hair like this out in public. I'll only wear it in safe places like the center, or at home. But if I'm out in public, I'll probably hiding it in a hat or like trying to like masculinize it in some way, shape, or form. Or like I cross my legs, which I also don't do in public. There are a lot of things I don't do in public. Or like sometimes I like the way that I talk, or not my voice but the way that I say things, or like I don't know, they're like little things, or like the way that I like some things that I dress, some things that I wear are, you know, not super manly, and I'm not like this uber masculine person. And I notice that sometimes it's what people, when I mean people, oh my god, I specifically mean cis straight women, or just straight women. Like it's what they're looking for. They're looking for this uber masculine guy, and I can't provide that, and I can't provide this height, and I can't provide like, you know, certain body parts because it's not, I wasn't given that at birth. And I mean, I'm not just interested in women, I'm also interested in non-binary folk. But since that has been a pretty recent like discovery, that hasn't really gone much anywhere. I mean, it's nice to know for myself, and also I think it'd be a lot easier, at least dating someone who's non-binary, because they're trans and I'm trans, and it's something that you can relate, you know. And like something else that kind of scares me is like dating someone who just won't understand me, who has never had an experience with a trans person, and like they wouldn't know what to do. So I mean, you know, whatever that might look like or whatever that might be, isn't gonna happen like tomorrow. So there's time for me to grow, and there's time for like, you know, for me to figure things out by then. But yeah, and I think I covered most of it. I sound like I'm like the loneliest person ever. I date myself. I take care of myself as much as I can. I like do things because I love to do things. You know, and there are things, I think that's important, that I love myself despite like, you know, I thought, like I said before, I thought that the confidence would like bring something, but I mean, if anything, it just brings me happiness, and that's what's important. Yeah. So if you've watched to here, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, or comment. You can give an individual their wings, and if you subscribe, you can join my family. And who doesn't want to learn to fly?